Oh, well, his fault.
All right, we'll get started. Yeah, I'm very shocked.
Very shocked. Well, I just wanted to follow up. I asked Joey yesterday about what does Stone have to do to be the starting kicker because he's an oar again this week after hitting a 58-yarder.
We'll see what he does in practice. I mean, I'm not going to change my – you guys know that. We'll see what happens in practice pregame. But, he did, I guess, Utah, pregame he was on fire and his leg was live. So, I kind of just go with the hot guy. So he had a good week. So hopefully he continues this week. But, I keep saying whether it's Upton or Ian, whoever it is, they're going to be expected to perform. So I feel good about that. I feel good where we're at.
In Scout, have you seen a fair amount of opportunities for punt block this week?
You know what? They do a really good job protecting. Coach Fritz, he's pretty involved in their special teams, and we've gone against each other when he was at Tulane. So I know the challenges, what they have, what they're doing. So, but you guys know us too. We're going to be aggressive. So one way or the other, I'm not saying that we're going to block one, but we're definitely going to come after it and see what happens.
Just because of how stout this defense has been, you haven't had a bunch of opportunities on kick return.
Yeah.
So in practice, are you seeing any further competition?
Well, it's kind of, it's a great point. Good question. Years past, we've had a lot of opportunities. So usually the more opportunities, the better you get at something. And we've had to work more in practice just because of what you're saying. And so, we'll keep doing it. Just, kick returns one of those deals. You're not gonna get a chance a whole bunch. We've got a lot of teams been kicking the ball in the end zone. Against Utah, we didn't have a chance. Same thing other teams, but yeah, when you don't let them score, which I've always said, if you got a good kick return team, you're not real good on defense because you've had a lot of chances. So I don't like. I'd rather not have very many chances at kickoff return and continue to let Shield and the boys do their job.
Coach Jack had a pretty good day punting against Utah. What kind of stands out? His control and the spin on the ball. Just getting the ball placed.
He's been. What? Jack's been consistent since last spring. We brought him here. He was traditional. He was an Aussie punter, and we wanted to get him because he has a really strong leg, so he went more traditional. Last year he struggled early, so we kind of made him go back to his Aussie background, and then all last offseason he really worked. And man, he flips the field for you. He's definitely a weapon. And then what he does inside the 20-yard line, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's got to be up in the top 2 or 3 in the country for putting balls inside the 20, much less I go the 15. So I'm proud of Jack. And besides that, he's a great holder. People don't realize you watch games all the time, where guys the holder drops the ball or they have, bad holds, and he's a great holder too.
How much time are you spending with Jack during practice? Are there specific drills that he's focused on?
I mean, specialists we beat our own drum. Nobody worries about us. We kind of go do our own thing during practice. But those guys work hard. If you come out, you guys have been out there. They work the whole practice pretty much. Then when they're not doing specialist stuff, they're having to be fill in offensive linemen on 7-on-7 and be receivers in some drills. So they kind of wear a lot of different hats. But you come out there, those guys are working. We got a 2-hour practice. They're working for an hour and 30 minutes.
You mentioned the Australian football aspect and him struggling and working over the offseason to get to where he's at now. Are there subtle details or fundamentals that you emphasize in his technique?
His drop obviously is the biggest thing, just because the Aussie drop's different than a traditional drop. That's probably the main thing that he's just he focuses, he works. And then out here, the good thing is the wind we get. Man, when we went to Utah, I think I told Level that it was crazy. We're in an environment I've never been in. There was no wind, so it's kind of weird going into pregame not having to play the wind out there with our kicks. So it's just out here it creates a lot of good habits for you as well.
What do you consider the strengths of the special teams right now?
This group is playing like their hair's on fire. I mean, from punt coverage to kick coverage, just our specialists, our holdups on returns. I mean, they're just playing at a different level. I mean, to be honest with you, I've tried to coach at that level, my whole life, but sometimes it works. And, this year, this group of guys, it is. I mean, if you come to watch them practice, they look forward to practice. They want to go hard. They want to go as fast as we can. Coaches, Red Raider speed and violence. We don't have to really worry about that with those guys. That's kind of how they practice. And then when we go out to the game, it's easy because that's how they're playing right now. So we just got to play at that level.
Other than the specialists, who are on the special teams in both return and return defense are showing a different level?
Each week, honestly, somebody's, Mikael Pilot's done some great things. He's blocked a couple balls. AJ McCarty's done good. And then Brock Galwals, him and Gage Elder and Chief Collins, those three dudes in the middle on kickoffs. Man, I'd hate to get in front of them because there's someone usually ends up on the ground every game with those three dudes. So, every week it's someone different, but the same, those guys, that I talked about that they're doing good. Marcus Ramon Edwards, another guy, a local kid that this year he's finally, I think the light's coming on, using him a lot more. Tyson Turner, another young kid. We're playing a lot of young guys, which is good. And those guys, aren't missing a beat. Leighton Stone's been added on some return stuff for us as well. So, I'm really happy that the future's bright with the young guys of what they're doing, both on returns and coverage.
As you look at this team as a whole, what do you see as a coach to
our locker room? Our locker room's different. Man, these dudes, there's no, you don't have to do things to get them to practice. They love playing with each other. They love being out there in practice. They love the game. They love celebrating. It's, Joey's done a good job of basically building this team culture-wise, to be honest with you. Everyone's got guys. I mean, college football, everyone's got players. But it's what you do in that locker room. And I think these guys, just being older, the older guys we got have helped the younger guys kind of figure it out. I mean, if you want to win, this is what you got to do. If no, you're not going to play. It's not hard. I mean, that's kind of what the philosophy I've always gone with, but it's good to see it kind of taking head and us being able to use it.
I know Gino and Austin, the last couple seasons, have taken advantage of some sports psychology sessions to keep everything level. Obviously, in kicking, technique needs to be perfect. What can you say about how much of the mental aspect really affects?
Yeah, those guys aren't going to psychologists because of kicking. They're going because of me. I mean, I'm the issue. So that's why they go to see a psychologist. It has nothing to do with sports performance, just in case. I think that's different. When I played, it was kind of like, go over there and deal with it. You'll smoke a cigarette and go to a bar, whatever, and just figure it out. Nowadays, it's probably a science. There's obviously some science to it that definitely helps these guys. Everybody, kicking. I've said it in here. Kicking's mental. I mean, it really is. It's a mental game. You gotta, the physical aspect is, I tell them, I'm not gonna change your swing, but I am gonna mess with you mentally every single day, and those guys know that. And I think that's kind of the thing that we've built on. And then, like I said, whatever I do in practice, they go get fixed after practice. So, but I love those guys. It helps, obviously. And it's, Wolf did it. There's been a lot of guys here. Everyone's, we've got a lot of players that use those. And I think it's beneficial. It's helped us. So keep doing it. Hey, Don, good morning.
Morning, Kenny. I didn't know you'd started. I was out there talking to
Well, yeah, that's why I asked these guys. I figured you were scared we were playing Houston.
I was out there talking to Dowdy, and he said, I didn't see Kitty yet. So what's it mean to you playing your alma mater?
I'm really proud of what Coach Fritz has done there, obviously. I love playing these guys. That placement means a lot to me. It basically shaped my life. My coaching career started there. And getting to play there with the guy, I still talk to all my old teammates. Get to talk to Andre Ware quite a bit, when he's doing games on Friday or someone will play. So I love what, I'm happy for the success they've had, but obviously this is the 1 week each year that I don't really care about them. I care about Texas Tech. So it's going to be fun going back there. Like I said, I love what the university's done. I love that they're in the Big 12. But, like I said, as far as anything past that, it's all about us this week.
Remind me, you played offense some years and defense some
Yeah,
years.
I got there I was a highly rated running back coming out of high school, and I was so highly the second week I was there, Coach Pardee moved me to defensive back, so I was a defensive back my 4 years there. So I played safety or corner and safety.
And then I don't want to put you on the spot, but I think it's sometime this summer somebody posted Rodney Blackshear's 95-yard
Yeah,
touchdown against
but see,
Alabama.
I wasn't covering Blackstar. I was on the other side. He might post that, but he didn't catch that on me. But he did catch a 95-yard touchdown against us. He reminds me of
Because
that
I think
too.
they mentioned your name.
Yeah, he
you know.
did. I told him, I said, we were 3-0 against you, though, Blackshear. Just remember that. And he then permitted to post a 95-yard touchdown. He had the one time that he did beat me.
What was? How did you like playing in the Dome, and what do you think of the stadium now?
I love it that it's on campus. You know, when we played in the Dome, it just wasn't the campus feel. You know, it was kind of out there away from the school. And now that they're on, they've done a great the facility there, the indoor they built, and then they got the new facility that opened up, the end zone facility, and just the stadium. It's awesome. Everybody should get to play on your campus. The students can go out and party and then drag themselves to the games and go out and party some more. So, but I love the fact that it's on campus, and what they've done with that place is unbelievable.
And you were recruited by was Coach Jenkins?
Party.
It was just Party.
Yeah, Party, and then Jenkins was my last 2 year.
I last year 2 years. Okay. What was that like?
Awesome. I mean, like I said, Coach Jack Pardee was he said some things. He was one of the Junction boys, so obviously he was pretty tough coming from Bear Bryant. But he just was one of those guys that he'd tell you something and it stuck. The stuff that he would tell you, just he made me grow up so fast. And I was obviously younger then, but just coaching wise, telling me that I need to really focus on this profession and the ways to be a great coach, and then how he treated you as a man. It was impressive. He wanted to get the most out of you, but I learned so much from him. Then of course, John Jenkins being my last 2 years, he was the air raid, and he wanted to throw it 900 times a game if he could and score 100 points if we could. Just two different philosophies, but I love what Coach Pardee meant to me and my family.
So you were you there when they had the? How bad was it? Houston beat SMU.
Yeah, I was there. 92 to something, 95. I think I was the last 2 points. I actually scored a 2-point conversion. It was a bad snap, and I jumped up to get it, and I came over the sideline. Coach was ripping my tail, and I was like, "Coach, I was just trying to make a play." He's like, "But do you not know what the damn score was?" So that was kind of one of my first. I learned some lessons in football back then. But yeah, I had nothing to do with a lot of those other 92 points, I guess. So.
After all of that, Joey joked that he told Shield not to make this week about himself. Did you get that same speech?
He's been telling me that we're glad we're wearing black pants this week, so they can't see me peeing in my pants and stuff like that. He's pretty much let me know that I'm going to be scared of Houston and what they've done, and being a Cougar, can he trust me with our playbook? Just typical, which it's awesome. He ain't going to change who he is, so I love it. But we've got Coach. The thing is, like Shield was there, and then Justin Johnson played there also, so he needs to get the same amount of ribbon that I'm getting. So we've got some guys, some Cougs that were there. But yeah, it's a big week, and like I said, this is what you want. This is what you want football. You want it to mean something. They're undefeated. We're undefeated. It's 6 o'clock game down there, so it's what football's supposed to be about. Supposed to mean something.
You joked earlier that your guys go to see the sports psychologist because of you, but I'm curious, when you get those new guys in for the first time, like Upton when he first comes in here, how do they usually respond to your style of coaching?
I think it's obviously there's been some guys that it hasn't worked on. I'm not going to lie to you. There's guys not here probably because just probably too hard on them. And then I think there's guys that need that realize, man, he's got the best interest for me. I've always tell them, man, listen to my message, not my tone. So I'm not for everybody. But, I think what we've done's worked as well. So, you're going to have good days and bad days. I get that. I think you guys remember last year versus Baylor, that was not one of my good days. We had a lot of turnovers and couldn't field kicks, and they just snowballed on you. So you try to put those behind you and focus on what we've done. And, I think these guys know that. I mean well, and all of our coaches do, but this is a tough sport, and it's not, like I said, we ain't giving out ribbons. We're giving out national championships, and there's coaches' jobs on the line. So guess what? I'm going to coach like my job's on the line every week. And if you can't deal with that, this probably ain't the right place for you.
Has there ever been a moment where you felt like you've had to dial it back, or are you adamant that that's how your style of coaching will be?
No, I don't think I'd dial it back. It's just the way I've been doing it for 34 years. And I think certain guys thrive, and then certain guys you got to realize what you can get away with and what you can't, and that's part of it. I mean, I do know which guys that push a little harder than the others. So I mean, I think that's just coaching in general. But I've loved these guys. I love players. I love coaches, and that's why I do this. Like I said, this is my 34th year, and I love what I'm doing, and I don't plan on stopping.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck.
Don, good seeing you. Glad you made it up.